So folks, good evening. And so just a friendly reminder, number one, nice to see you again. And so I hope the weekend treated you well and that you are understanding we are approaching winter. So when it was 55 and 60 degrees, that was a lie. Like, we're officially entering the time of 40 degrees and whatnot. And the other friendly reminder is that the mics that you see here on either side, these are super sensitive, and while their purpose is to enable more fluid board member conversations so that Patricia and Sarah don't need to take 10,000 steps, to share the microphones and stuff, they do pick up the side conversations. And so I'm always going to repeat this blurb as just a friendly reminder. And so this meeting of Brooklyn Community Board 14 is called to order on Monday, December 9th, 2024 at 7 p.m. under the applicable statutes of New York State, the Charter of New York City, and the board's bylaws and Robert's Rules of Order. And so the board's policy is to encourage detailed public discussion of matters before the board at our committee meetings and at public hearings. As a result, except by board members, there will be no public discussion at our regular monthly meeting of matters about which a public hearing or committee meeting has been held. Specific service delivery requests or complaints, those should be brought to the attention of our district office staff. You can either call the board office during regular business hours or visit our website anytime. And so for other matters of civic interest that could be brought before the board during our scheduled public comment period, which will begin tonight after all of the business on the board's monthly meeting agenda has been concluded. And so no partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises will be heard. And persons wishing to speak during the public comment period were asked to pre-register. And so the first item of business, Secretary, could you please call the roll?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Wahio. There. Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. For the record, Wahil Ahmed. Here. Carissa Alfonso. Gregory Alvarez.
Present.
Hindi Bendel. Benjamin Bendet. Davina Bolanot.
Present.
Christopher Bromson. Edward Sen.
Present.
Carl Henry Cesar. Florencia Changajita present. Yvette Claire Jean. Stephen D. Cohen. Elizabeth Dennis.
Present.
Derek Donald. Sabina Dorville. Joseph Dweck.
Here.
Hatem El Gamasi.
Here.
Gerald Gray.
Present.
Susan Argett.
Present.
Lee Harmon.
Present.
Musa Hassoun. William Attar. Mordecai Husarski. Nautica Johnson.
Present.
Erica Phillips Jones. Shahid Khan. Alex Lesman.
Present.
Naomi Lipnick. Donald Loggins.
Present.
Sasha Masluski. Melissa Minnick.
Present.
Ephraim Nierenberg.
Present.
Eric Ost.
Present.
Ornella Parker.
Here.
Nora Penny. Susan Phillip.
Present.
Spee Plotsker.
Here.
Barden Prasant. Baza Ruhi.
Present.
Nina Sebger.
Here.
Joel Siegel.
Present.
Gail L. Smith.
Present.
Tova Svenberg.
Here.
Abraham Treff. Deborah Valentin.
Here.
Dawn Marie Walker.
Here.
Kendall Washington.
Present.
So thank you very much for that. So folks, we have quorum. And so next item up for the minutes for the prior general board meeting, were there any proposed changes received via email? Are there any proposed changes to the November general board meeting from the floor? So hearing none, is there a motion to adopt the minutes for the...
Second.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so the motion carries. Thank you. And so next, the district manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Happy holiday season to everybody. First, a quick public service announcement from EMJC. When you leave this evening, there might be paper downstairs on the carpet. Please stay on that. They're washing the rugs tonight. Be mindful, don't trip and fall, and don't get your feet wet on the carpet. I first of all just want to start off by thanking our chair and district office staff. I had a November unlike most Novembers and was out a lot, and they really held down the fort and supported me, so thank you all for that. Since then, I've been back and have joined, I joined Councilmember Vernikov for a meeting with the borough president to brainstorm with community members who live in the council members district on some capital wish list items that the borough president is going to consider, and with his staff sort of figure out the possibility of doing any of the plans that were brought up. Senior center, community center, youth centers were the kind of centers that were talked about, centered the conversation on. I also attended the Detective Dylan Stewart Memorial. I appreciate the precincts continue including us in that memorial. They did a blood drive, also very successful as it is every year. And hats off to Leslyn Stewart, who puts together a great blood drive and continually works with communities on events and memorials, and is just a really stalwart community member. I did the Junction bid meeting, talked about all the great things that go on in the Junction with the businesses, the events, especially the events on Hillel Plaza. Hats off to Kenneth Ombuno, who goes above and beyond in the bid. We held our district service cabinet meeting last Wednesday. A little lackluster, but we'll stir it up next time around. This is really a meeting that I find real important because it's the time that we sit down with people across city agencies who are assigned to this district to talk about our interagency issues and how we can support each other on the ground. So we did discuss some of the vending issues and homeless encampments and towing issues and ways to work together better. So I will report back to you next time we have a district service cabinet meeting. It will be a more positive report. I am confident. There was an NCO Charlie meeting. Check our website. The people talk about not getting the NCO notices in a timely manner, but we put them up as soon as we have them. So they should be on the precinct's website, but when they're not, they're on our website. And again, I highly encourage you to attend those meetings because it's one-on-one with the people who are there to address anything, but especially the quality of life issues. And of course, keep us posted on those as well, and we turn them over to the NCOs a lot of the time. So it's good for them to hear directly from you. Also attended a meeting at Borough Hall with the borough president to discuss ways to support district offices, their administrative operations. So we are continuing to brainstorm about ways to get that external support. Speaking of NCO meetings, so you have a chance. NCO Adam. I didn't write down the date. Scott, do you know the date for office? I had to put it in my notes, but not the date. Thank you. It's a good thing you're here. Thank you to Detective Nuzzi. And while he's checking that out, one other announcement I'd like to make is B&L Health, Inc. provided a notification, which is what the state requires them to do. At 1100 Coney Island Avenue, Vaza knows where that is, they have an existing site for outpatient treatment, so they are adding New York State Outpatient Treatment Center, and we will bring them into a Human Services Committee in the near future so we can get to know them better and hear more about those programs.
So the NCO Adam build a block meeting is going to be at 2002 Avenue J, right by the corner of Ocean Avenue. That's going to be Wednesday, December 11th, 7 o'clock to when it's over, about 8 o'clock.
Thanks, Scott. That's it for me.
Thank you for that report. And so a few things. So yes, I'd like to recognize Detective Muzzy. So thank you for joining us here, as well as we have Abraham Malachowski from Councilmember Lewis's office. So thank you very much for being here. And then we also have Brian Grady from Councilmember Joseph's office as well. So thank you very much for joining us too. And then we also have Ellie Slavin from Congresswoman Clark's office. So thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, he got promoted in real time. I mean, shoot. He's always great. So thank you very much for joining us as well. And so now we go on to the chair's report. And so, folks, did I see Britt? Oh, shoot, I missed Britt. Britt from Borough President Reynoso's office. So thank you very much for joining us as well. And we have Venus Gansselberry from the Civilian Complaint Review Board. So thank you very much for joining us as well. And so for the chair's report, folks, good evening. And, you know, for those who will celebrate Bodhi Day or Yule, I hope you do so happily. And then for those who will celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or Christmas, I wish you a joyous and a festive celebration. Now for the Brooklyn Borough Board report, I owe you 2 of them. Don't worry, this will be quite quick. And the reason I owe you 2 is just remember the November one took place after our November board meeting, and then the December one took place before this meeting as well too. So the highlights of the November Brooklyn Borough Board meeting, we had held a public hearing on the 3rd Street Playground project. So a representative from the Prospect Park Alliance presented design plans, and that's where the memo that had gone out had informed you all that basically a motion passed to allow the board and community boards to weigh in on that. And so I had asked you all for your feedback, and I thank you all so much for the feedback you had given. And so the second part of November 7th was that there was a data dissemination expert from the U.S. Census Bureau who came, and she presented on how to explore census data for Kings County and specifically community boards. And so if you want a little bit more insight into that, I believe the November board meeting is posted on Antonio Reynoso's YouTube page. So if you go towards the last 30 minutes or so, I think somewhere in that you'll see the presentation, and then you'll see the part she's talking about of how to get that Kings County and community board specific information. Now for the December 3rd board meeting, Brooklyn Borough board meeting that took place last week. So 2 main things: an individual from the MTA presented on the 2025-29 strategic plan. So that was very fascinating. And then the second thing is we resumed the conversation on the 3rd Street Playground. So ultimately, the motion passed to support that project. And so those are the main updates from the December 3rd Brooklyn Borough Board meeting. And that ends the chair's report. So, and I'm not kidding, that really... So now we are on to topical committees, reports, and items. And so we will go in this order. We will hear first from the Transportation Committee, followed by the Housing and Land Use Committee.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, so we had 2 presentations at the last Transportation Committee meeting. One was by the DOT and the other was by the MTA. On the DOT came to present an update to the bike lane network that they had proposed in 2023. They had provided an update that there were certain signal improvements and markings done along Parkside Ave and the parade ground improvements. When they spoke specifically about the 2023 bike network, or the bike network that they had proposed in 2023, there weren't really any significant updates to that plan. Basically, their plan is to extend the north-south painted bike lanes to the bottom of the district and add a bunch of east and west connections. They plan to roll out the bike network in 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. phase 1 will do for the most part, the north-south extensions, and then phase 2 will have most of the east-west connections. Importantly, the network, they reported, would not have any impact on the streets, so no loss of parking or anything like that. And these changes are expected to start in the spring of 2025, hopefully around also around May and June. They did get a lot of pushback from board members and the community about why they hadn't just done it in 2024 as they had originally promised. They didn't really give a good answer, but they just said operational constraints and project priorities. They just prioritized other projects, and they kind of owned up to that. The goal is, but they said those projects or that network are kind of like on a conveyor belt, so they're about to go into the implementation phase. They also presented or reintroduced the idea that they are considering protected bike lane improvements to the district, so building some protection on some bike lanes in the district. They had announced that also in 2023, but hadn't really moved on it. They were specifically looking at improvements on Dorchester and Ditmas, but they're still in the studying phase. They want to do a lot more community engagement. They want to make sure that they bring together different groups. In fact, they had indicated that they would be open to feedback either through a working group or from the community or through a resolution or something like that. I think that could be potentially a good way to keep them engaged in the Transportation Committee itself, in which case you all would be able to join and kind of share the feedback. Just generally, just in terms of like the feedback they received from board members and the public, they got a bunch of questions on specific connections in the network that I think gave them useful feedback, but there was a lot of feedback that was supportive of the plan and then pushing them on why they hadn't done it sooner. And anyway, and I'll just reemphasize the point, DOT specifically said that they were looking for more community engagements. We'll work with the district office and others to hopefully make that happen. Thank you.
All right. We had someone speak from the MTA, and at this meeting they stated that the work at Church Avenue, that the Church Avenue station on the Q and B line is continuing. The first half has been completed. The second half has begun. The Q and B train now skips Church Avenue on the uptown side. For 2024 and 2029, they have plans to purchase over 2,000 new carts, install modern signage, signals, and they're going to modernize the train shops and yards because that helps to keep the train going. And they're going to rebuild and repair 80 subway stations. They didn't exactly say which stations. They're also going to improve the camera infrastructure and install new technology to communicate with customers, and install new fare gates at 150 subway stations.
Mark, can we check that mic at the podium? Can we check the mic at the podium?
They're having trouble hearing.
And then while that's being done, I'm going to augment that report a little bit because, as you all know, the elevator is going in at the Brighton Line Q stop. But I started getting complaints about that today, the noise and the how long in the day the work is going on. So keep me posted. I don't guarantee that we can make sure it's quiet construction, but I do want to know if, what the timing is like, whether we can work with them to get some of this stuff out of the way earlier in the day so it's not as loud at night. Keep me posted because I only just started hearing complaints about it. Thanks.
So next up, we have housing and land use. And while they get up there, I'd like to recognize Taisha Allen from Assemblymember Michat's office. So thank you very much for joining us as well.
So thanks. So my name is Melissa Minnick. I'm with Housing and Land Use. And we met on Tuesday, November 12th, and we had three presenters, or three groups of presenters, really. The first being, is that good? Okay. The first being from the New York State Department of Homes and Community Renewal. So we had three presenters actually with that unit themselves. But we got an overview of the Office of Rent Administration Services and public information access points and updates really about everything that the state can do to help renters. So we had both DJ Kwan from the Office of Rent Administration, and then we had presentation from two of their attorneys as well. And their legal unit really gave us a good presentation about educating tenants on their legal rights, just being in New York State, and how they collaborate with community and tenant groups here in the city on ending tenant harassment, other unlawful activities, and really resources that they can tap into, being able to call this organization as well. And all the work that they're doing to both protect and preserve New York's affordable housing stock as well. So they're really going at this in a number of ways.
Hello, everybody. Greg Alvarez, the other co-chair of Housing and Land Use. Just to carry on with the presentations that we received on November 12th. The second one was from Tyrone McDonald, Government and Community Relations Manager of NHS Brooklyn, and he explained the various services offered by their organization. Relates to all things interesting for tenants and landlords, particularly landlords of the 1 to 4 unit variety. The gambit runs from tenant education and counseling, renters insurance education, home buyer education, landlord trainings, and even estate planning. So it sort of runs the gamut across the board. It even extends into financial education and counseling, homeowner education in terms of maintenance and standards to keep up their properties. And we also had a discussion of the Home First program, which offers grants for owner-occupied buildings up to 4 units where the owner is at 80% AMI. Next and finally, as part of our presentations, we received a presentation from Jonathan Goss, Director of Neighborhood Preservation Services at the Housing and Family Services of Greater New York. First describing what he does and sort of is even more expansive in the landlord-tenant range. Basically, he said he does everything except help find people places and hand out money, so it really runs the gambit. On top of that, he detailed the good cause eviction rules that were recently adopted by the council this year, running through some of the further details. It applies to tenants in buildings of 11 or more units, or the landlord that owns the building owns that many units across more than one property. The landlord doesn't live there, and your rent must be below 2 times the fair market rent, and that's when these new good cause eviction rules would be applicable to you as a tenant. And some of the benefits of the legislation include rent increases have been limited to a reasonable rent increase that's going to be set on a yearly basis, and then it defines what good cause means. So it tries to really drill down in terms of the types of things that landlords could use in terms of eviction notices. So all good things for tenants, and Mr. Goss just walked us through that as well. Just one final note, we all know, I think we've all heard at this point, that City of Yes for Housing Opportunity did pass in a varying form from what we probably reviewed it when it came through us. So I definitely encourage everyone to look at the fine print there, and we can all see what the ramifications might be moving forward, wherever you necessarily sit on the spectrum of yay or nay. So that's it for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that update. So next up, we have Human Services Committee and then Community Environment. And I'd like to recognize Portia Edwards from Senator Myrie's office. Thank you. And so any of the co-chairs for Human Services Committee?
Are you okay? You want me to?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. The Human Services Committee has just scheduled a January meeting for, I'm going to get this one right, January 22nd. We will be joined by Norman Siegel, who will be discussing his outreach to unsheltered street homeless, a sort of paradigm shift in approach that seems to be very successful. So talking about whether or not it could take hold here and scale up citywide, I think will be an interesting conversation. We also are working to schedule a representative from Brookdale Medical Center to report on budget cuts to that medical center, which, you know, doesn't bode well for our community facing closures, potential closures, and downscaling at SUNY Downstate. So please join us. That is a remote committee meeting. See you on the screen.
Thank you for that update. And then next up, yes, Community Environment, Cultural Affairs, and Economic Development.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So the Community Environment, Cultural Affairs, and Economic Development Committee met last week on December 3rd. On our agenda was an update on the Flatbush African Burial Ground from Brooklyn Commissioner Marty Marr, although it was not much of an update. I believe, Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, did we get a date from Marty as far as when the community engagement session will take place?
No,
There's a live one on December 18th from 6 to 8 at the Lefferts Homestead.
I'm sorry. No.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
the update that we got is that they're near the end of the design process, so after a long haul. But there'll be 2 more meetings for community input. One's going to be virtual to be announced. The second one's in person. And that's Wednesday, December 18th, 6 to 8 at the Lefferts Homestead in Prospect Park. If you have comments, you can also write to bkspecialevents@parks.nyc.gov. That's bkspecialevents@parks.nyc.gov. So this process is coming to the end. They have a award-winning landscape architect, Emmanuel Thingue, who is the main designer, who was born in Haiti.
but that to answer your question, we didn't get a date for the virtual meeting yet. But as soon as we do, we will post it, and we can also send it out because it will be a quick turnaround.
Great. Thank you. Do you want it? Yeah.
We had 2 speakers last Tuesday. Our second speaker was a woman, Tara Deegan, the Senior Advisor on Government Relations and Community Affairs at the New York City Department of Environmental Protection. She gave us a presentation on the city's lead water line service replacement program. Your water main service line is the one that runs from the building to the street. And homeowners, building owners, are responsible for that water main to repair it and replace it as necessary. There are approximately 1 million water service lines in New York, and the woman, Ms. Deegan, said that about 10%, 100,000 lines, are made of lead. Others say it's as much as 30%. Nevertheless, she said that they erred on the side of caution, and DEP sent out 250,000 letters to homeowners with water main lines that the city believes are made of lead. So some of you may have received that letter. Their lead service lines are generally found in small structures, 1 to 4 family houses. She insisted that New York City delivers lead-free water. While lead can be a serious health problem for young children and pregnant women, New York City adds an additive to their water, something akin to baking soda, to prevent metal corrosion on pipes. And she said she was not aware of anyone getting poisoned from lead in water. 99% of lead poisoning, she said, comes from lead paint, and poisoning also occurs from spices and makeup. If you have a lead service line, she advised to flush it, like running your water until it's cool before drinking, or get a filter, or replace the line. The DEP has a pilot program. If the city or a city emergency contractor is working on a line on your block and they find a lead water line to your house, you've won the lottery, because they will replace it for free. They will replace your line and also the cement, and so that's a groovy thing. If you get a notice to that effect, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Just go there straight, okay? Also, New York City Department of Design and Construction will also replace lead water service lines if they find them in the course of a project. And DEP has some funding from the federal infrastructure bill, thank you, Joe Biden, and will be replacing lead lines based on income, lead pipe density, and other criteria. They're not in Brooklyn now. They're going into Brooklyn and Queens next year. There's not enough money to replace all lines for free, but the DEP gets, I don't remember if she said X amount of dollars per year, and it'll continue for 10 years. You can search on that same, on the website for, it is, where is it? It is, I'll find it. But if you, oh, here it is, nyc.gov/DEP/lead. You can search there to find if the city thinks you have a lead line. They have a map. You can check your address. I checked mine. Also, if you've elected to enroll in the American Water Resource Service Line Protection Program, some of you have that, you know, where if something goes bad with your water line, they supposedly replace it. Well, if you need some sort of repair on a lead line, they can't repair it, they have to replace it, and the insurance will cover part of that. You can also call 911 and request a lead test kit. It will be mailed to you. You do the test, sampling the water, and you mail it back, and the city will send you a detailed analysis of what was found in your water. Again, you can call 311 for that. Okay. If you know you don't have a lead line, you can submit online photos, correct the city's information. The letters sent to homeowners who the city believe have lead lines has all the explanation. For your information, galvanized steel contains lead. There are other ways to test if you have a lead line. You can do a scratch test. I don't know if they sent it to you, Sean. Did they? You can do a scratch test, and there's a pamphlet that they're supposed to be sending to the board office, and you can test your main and find out if you have lead or not. So there. Replacing your main costs over $10,000.
Unless it's free.
God bless.
Thank you very much for that update. And so the next folks up, we have youth services, followed by community safety, and then transition.
Good evening. My name is Eric Gost. I'm co-chair of the Youth Services Education and Libraries Committee. We have a meeting scheduled this Thursday. You didn't even miss it this month. This Thursday, December 12th at 6:30 on WebEx. Invite everybody to join us. First up on that agenda will be a presentation on a new UPeer phone app from the nonprofit Street Lives. We'll have a presentation by their communications manager. Street Lives is a nonprofit founded in 2015 to empower unhoused individuals through digital products rooted in the lived experience. This new online platform, UPeer, Your Peer, which we'll hear about, is designed to help navigate city services at approximately 1,300 locations throughout the city. And the app features, and this is the main thing, it's all peer-validated information on free or low-cost local services like food, shelter, housing, clothing, healthcare, personal care, legal advice, and for youth and also anybody who would like to use it. So please join us on Thursday to learn more.
Hi everyone, Ornella Parker here. I am the second co-chair for the Youth Service Education and Library Committee. I just want to start off by saying good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's Monday. Y'all got to do better than that. Come on. Good evening, everyone. All right. I got some exciting news. The second item on our agenda for Thursday, again, this Thursday at 6:30, virtual, is we're beginning the initial planning for the 2025 Youth Conference. If you know anything, it is a hit every single year. So if you want to be a part of that planning and the initial part of that planning, please come out on Thursday, virtual. You don't even have to leave your homes or wherever you are. 6:30 WebEx. You can find that on our board's website, so you can get the direct link.
Thank you. And then actually, if you guys don't have any more, Nella, you could stay and just do the transition committee since you're up there, right? That makes more sense, right?
Yes, I had enough steps in for today. Hi, everyone. Here again, I am now representing the transition ad hoc. So, no, we did not have a meeting last month, but we did have a meeting the month before. And as I shared, we had looked at some of the demographic data and connected it to our makeup of our district. And we're trying to figure out ways to make sure that our board is representative of the demographics of our actual community. So the second part of what we're going to do, we have a meeting. Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, 16, is that confirmed now? Yes, okay. January 16th will be our next meeting, and some exciting news for that meeting is we're going to have potentially some legacy members come in and share some of their knowledge that they have from being a part of this board for a while, and the goal is to take that knowledge along with the data that we have and compile a report that we can send to the Brooklyn Borough President's Office on ways we could make our board more representative of our actual community. So, see you guys January 16th. All right, y'all.
Thank you so much. And so next up is community safety.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Florenzia and I would like to wish everyone season's greetings. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and Kwanzaa. Our Community Safety Committee meeting will be next Tuesday, December 17th at 6:30 via WebEx. And we'll be hearing from the Civilian Complaint Review Board about its mission, process, and ways to get involved. And DRUM will report on the cure violence model in CB14.
Good evening, everyone. Just wanted you to know also, please, we have the council meeting for the police precinct on the 18th. And before that, though, we do have our community safety, as Hindi told you, on the 17th. So the 17th, the meeting will be virtual, but the precinct council meeting will be their year-end party. If you have kids or know of kids in the community, they serve food, they have games and entertainment. Thank you. Oh, and FYI, just wanted you to know that there was an incident today at the junction where someone was fatally stabbed.
Yeah, I just want to say that on Christmas Day, the 25th, I'm bringing food to the cops. If anybody wants to join, if it's not their holiday, to come at 2 o'clock. Love to see you all. If you could bring a Christmas card or something, it'd be very nice. That's Wednesday, the 25th at 2 p.m.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
So thank you, Joe, and thank you very much, co-chairs, for that update as well, too. And so before we go to the public session, I'd be remiss not to give a round of applause to Wayne Roosevelt and the East Midwood Jewish Center for hosting us, and Mark Moss as well for live streaming, because simply without both of their help, then we couldn't do this. So I thank both of you very much for this. And so now this brings us to our public comment period. So board members, please remain for this public comment period. Speakers can sign up with either Patricia or Sarah at the back of the room, and up until the beginning of this public comment period. So matters of civic interest and announcements of public events are invited. I repeat this, no partisan political appeals or advertising of for-profit enterprises are permitted. So each speaker will be given up to 3 minutes and may not receive additional time from another speaker. Speakers are directed to address the assembly from the front of the room right there, and at the conclusion of the 3-minute period, each speaker must return to their seat. And so the board does have an obligation to conduct its business in an orderly manner, and so anyone who's preventing us from doing so may be asked to leave. And so accordingly, speaking time will be assigned first to speakers from different groups, and then to speakers addressing different issues. Then finally, if time allows, to additional speakers on an issue from a single group. So the time is 7:40 p.m. And so our first speaker is and I want to make sure I get this right. Would I be pronouncing your name Narinder Chawla from Flatbush Library?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Please come up.
Hello, everyone. I represent the Flatbush Library, 22 Linden Boulevard. So I just want to go over some of the programs that we're offering at the branch. So the first Wednesday of every month, we have tabling inside the library where Brooklyn Supports comes out, and they help patrons with housing issues, food issues, any kind of social resources that they need. So that's the first Wednesday of every month. It is on the calendar. If the community can spread the word, that would be good. Also, we have resume help for patrons every Tuesday and Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. We help out with interviewing. We'll sit at the computer with you, help you update your resume, any changes, interviewing tips, anything to do with job. We'll also direct you to job resources, websites where you can look for jobs. So that's every Tuesday and Wednesday at 4 o'clock. We also have kids chess, 5 to 6:30. Every Tuesday for kids, and we do have a chess master that comes out. He helps kids, instructs them how to play chess and everything like that. And also, we have neighborhood tech help every Thursday, 1 to 5, and they're Brooklyn Public Library digital navigators that will help patrons with setting up email accounts, doing research, surfing the web, any kind of research they want to do, anything to do with filling out forms, whether it be social services or any other immigration forms, they'll direct you on how to fill out those forms. Also, right now we have Spanish story time every Friday, 11 o'clock. So we have a presenter from outside come in. She does music, she does a little dance, and she reads a story in Spanish. Also, we have the Flatbush Book Club, which is a monthly book club. The next book club meeting is December 26th, 6:15 to 7:30. And like I said, we do have also have computer basics on Mondays. On Thursdays, we have Ask a Tech, where we can help you navigate your phone, download emails, any basic tech help that a patron may need, whether it's sending messages or receiving emails, sending out emails, anything like that. Anything technology related will help you out doing that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those updates, Narinder. And so next up we have Brian Grady.
Hey, good evening. On behalf of Councilmember Joseph, just want to start by wishing everybody a happy holidays this December. Just a few announcements this evening. The first has already been mentioned, but this is some flyers in the back for the Flatbush African Burial Ground community engagement session that's going to be on December 18th from 6 to 8. Really encourage everybody to come out to that if you can. We want to get as much engagement on that process as possible. Flyers are in the back. There's the RSVP to my colleague Roslyn if you want to come out, and then also the email address if you want to email your input to the Parks Department. We do once again have the New York Legal Assistance Group coming out this month for housing and benefits questions. If you want to meet with an attorney or have your case heard about that, please do let us know, and we'll see if we can squeeze you in. I also really want to publicize we have a tenants' rights workshop that's coming up on Wednesday, December 19th from 6 to 7 in the evening via Zoom. That's with Impact Brooklyn. This is a really, really excellent organizer and a great session. If you have anything going on in your apartment that you need assistance with, good housing organizers are really busy. They're hard to come by. This is a great opportunity to connect with her if you need any help like that. And then really kind of last but not least, we have our end of the year fitness party coming up. This is going to be on Saturday, December 14th from 11 to 2 at the Boys and Girls Club at 2245 Bedford Avenue. We have a plethora of co-sponsors on that, but it's just going to be a great way to do some, sort of health and wellness and exercise activities. So if you know anyone interested, please do come out. I have some other flyers in the back related, as usual, to our sort of housing and immigration support that we offer in our office. Also welcome to come by or give us a call if you have any issues in the community or with any city agencies. Our office is at 930 Flatbush Avenue. We're there Monday through Thursday, 10 to 5, or you can give us a call at 718-287-8762. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Brian. So next up, we have Abraham and then Venus.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Avraham. I am representing Councilmember Farrah Lewis. I'd like to begin by, on behalf of the council member, hoping that everybody had a lovely, restful, and rejuvenating Thanksgiving, surrounded by good friends, good family, and good food. This past month has been a very busy one for District 45. In partnership with other elected officials, community groups, and local businesses, we've given out thousands of turkeys to the community. We hope that these donations have assisted those who are less fortunate in celebrating Thanksgiving. In addition, our office participated in a walkthrough with the NYPD and the South Midwood Residents Association to address some concerns that the Residents Association were having. We thank the 70th Precinct for facilitating the meeting. As the temperature continues to drop, I want to remind all tenants here that if you're experiencing any heating issues, our office is here to help, so please do not hesitate to reach out to us. Last week, as many of you may know, the city passed the City of Yes legislation. While the council member recognizes the importance of addressing the housing crisis, Councilmember Lewis had some serious concerns regarding the bill. It allows developers to prioritize profits over people, potentially displacing tenants in favor of high-end developments with minimal affordable housing. The member is also deeply concerned about the strain that this legislation can place on our community's infrastructure, which is already under deep pressure. Our office has been in close communication with community stakeholders, including Community Board 14, to gather feedback on this legislation. While the council member is pleased to have secured several concessions from the city to address these concerns, it was ultimately not enough. Additionally, the council member was disheartened to learn that none of the $5 billion pledged by the city for housing would be allocated for District 45. For these reasons, the council member had no choice but to vote no on the bill. However, the council member wanted me to stress that despite the bill passing, she was able to secure that the historic districts and some other parts of CB14 will not have any ADUs, which was something that the community was very concerned about. As always, our office is located 1434 Flatbush Avenue. We welcome walk-ins Monday to Thursday, 9 to 5, Fridays by appointment only, and you can reach us by calling us at 718-629-2900. If you have any further questions or concerns, I'll be hanging around, and I'd just like to end off by wishing everyone a happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, and a happy New Year, and just a special thank you for CB14 and Cheer Cesar for everything that we've done throughout this year. It's been a pleasure working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Abraham, and the same to you. So next up, we have Venus, and then we have Mr. Slavin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Venus Canterbury. I'm Brooklyn Outreach for the New York City Civilian Complaint Review Board. Essentially, we're a city agency that independently investigates and mediates police misconduct. Our jurisdiction is force, abuse of authority, discourtesy, and offensive language, as well as racial profiling and bias-based policing. If anyone has any concerns or just any questions about police interaction, you could reach out to our agency at 1-800-341-2272 or at nyc.gov/site/cservicomplaint. Just have 3 announcements. We have our upcoming board meeting, the last one of the year. This will be held at our headquarters, Church Street, Lower Manhattan, 10th floor, at 4 p.m. We invite the community, we invite the public, community stakeholders to know a bit more about what the board is doing and our strategic planning for the new year. I'm very excited to be talking or presenting at the Community Safety Committee next week, Tuesday. So thank you guys for inviting me and having me. I look forward to it. And lastly, I'm very excited to announce that we are opening our Youth Advisory Council applications. The deadline is December 31st. This is a really great way for youth to be involved. If they have a spark for history, government work, if they want to be more civically engaged. We usually look for youth between the ages of 10 to 18, but they usually are in middle school or high school. This is great for resume help, mentorship. A lot of our youth are applying to college, so this looks really good for them. As an extracurricular, they do team building activities, act as youth ambassadors. Our youth this year recorded a radio commercial for iHeart Radio and 105.1, so we're really excited for their voice to be out. We also held our youth summit towards the end of the cohort. They build a youth-led youth summit that talks about police accountability and just, how police and the community can have positive relations. That was held in, this November. It was in Harlem. It was really great. Last year we did it internationally. So please invite your youth to apply. December 31st is the deadline. And I wish everyone a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, and a prosperous New Year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Venus. So next up, we have Mr. Slavin, and then we have Britt Bird.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ellie Slavin. I'm Community Liaison for Congresswoman Yvette Clark. So we are located at 222 Lenox Road between Rogers and Ostrand. Our number is 718-287-1142. There's a lot of information on our website, activities in the DC, and what our office's outreach, which is clark.house.gov, clark.house.gov. Now, we opened up a satellite office at Kojo, which is on Avenue M. Exact address would be 1523 Avenue M. I sit there every first and third Wednesday from 10:30 to 2 o'clock. We've had people come in. We handle federal issues. I just want to make a public announcement. As those of you who plan on traveling, make sure your passports are at least 6 months valid. And if you do run into a situation where you book tickets, you're flying overseas, you need your passport, do reach out to us because we do have it in with the passport office. We can try to get you an appointment if it's within 5 days of your travel. We handle HUD, we handle visas, immigration, federal issues. We also partner with local officials on local issues. Let me just make sure here. Also, you mentioned before about the Congressman having a promotion. So Congressman Yvette Clark was elected to be the chair of the CBC, which is the Congressional Black Caucus. Responsible job and very prestigious job, and I think she's the right person to roll the ball further. Again, everybody have a happy holiday, happy Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and all should be well.
Thank you so much for that update, Mr. Slavin. So yes, next up we have Britt Bird, and then we have Taisha Allen.
Good evening. I'm Britt Bird, representing Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso. The BP wishes everyone hopes everyone had a nice Thanksgiving and wishes everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Kwanzaa. Over Thanksgiving on Friday, November 22nd, Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso hosted his annual Thanksgiving food distribution event in partnership with UA3. And this year, our staff distributed over 60,000 pounds of fresh produce, non-perishables, and other food items to more than 120 Brooklyn houses of worship, community kitchens, and other community-based organizations addressing food insecurity and homelessness. BP gives many thanks to our sponsors for their donations and volunteer support. In general, 2024 has been a busy year for the Brooklyn Borough President, and he has put together a pamphlet summarizing the year's activities. I've brought a stack in the back if you would like to take one. One particular focus is the Borough President's Constituent Services team, which had a lot of success this year. And they're available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. by phone or email to help with any issues you may have. You can also talk with the Constituent Services team in person at Borough Hall, the drop-in hours on Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. All of the information is available on the pamphlet, as well as some examples of different cases that the team was successful for, if you're wondering what exactly the constituent service team can help with. And that is it for me today. Thank you.
Thank you for those updates, Britt. So yes, next up we have Taisha Allen, followed by Portia Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back for the short break until we're off again. On behalf of Assembly Member Vanessa Bishop Hermelin, we hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving surrounded by friends and family. Assembly Member Bishop Hermelin hosted her annual turkey giveaway and gave over 1,000 turkeys to household, churches, and community partner organizations of the 42nd Assembly District. In addition, we partnered with Plaza Auto Mall and other electeds and distributed hundreds of additional turkeys. Also co-sponsored dinners that fed thousands of families in the community on Thanksgiving Day. Also in partnership with Morris Heights Health Center, we gave over 100 vouchers to families that were still in need of a turkey or just needed that additional help in purchasing groceries. In the spirit of giving, we are currently accepting donations of toys until Wednesday, December 18th at our office located at 1312 Flatbush Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11210. And for more information, you can call 718-940-0428. On November 23rd, in partnership with Parks and DDC, we held a successful Shirley Chisholm 100th birthday bash for the community in the Nordstrom Playground, where the upcoming new Shirley Chisholm Recreation Center will be overlooking that playground upon completion. Looking forward into 2025, the Assembly member will be hosting her annual State of the District address Thursday, January 16th at the Brooklyn College Performing Arts Theater from 6 to 8 p.m. Registration is open. You must RSVP, but all is welcome. And also looking into legislation, she will be helping to push legislation that the mayor just also set forth and to try to rescind the New York City taxes for working families. And on that note, that's all the notices, but we want to wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, a Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, and New Year's to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taisha. So next up we have Portia Edwards, then Detective Nuzzi.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. I haven't been in a minute, so please excuse my absence. I just wanted to give some quick updates. First, the office is pleased to share that our annual Thanksgiving Harvest Fest, which was held on the 23rd, I believe, this Saturday, before Thanksgiving, was a success. We partnered with District Attorney Eric Gonzalez's office, and were able to feed over 600 families with turkeys and produce. So we just wanted to say thank you to all of our volunteers who came out. They did an amazing job helping us put this event together like they do every year. Also, just want to express gratitude to the students in our district who participated in the Thanksgiving Creative Arts Celebration. So it's it's a project that the students get through their schools from the state, where they send in pictures of what they're thankful for, and we got over 40 photos from the students this year, and so it was pretty awesome. If you go to the New York State Senate website, you'll be able to see some of those drawings on our website there. In November, the week before November, the Clean Slate Act was put into effect, and so we're super proud of that, being the main legislative sponsors on that. The senator is very proud of being able to have that enacted. If anyone needs help in that area, please reach out to the office. Our office is located at 1077 Nostrand Avenue. Our telephone number is 718-284-4700. And I'll give you my email address as well, so that you guys can also feel free to reach out to me. But I also have a QR code, so if anyone wants it, I'll be around a little bit before a police officer leaves, because I'm parked right behind him, so I don't want to get a ticket. My email address is pedwards@nysenate.gov. And I just want to give happy holidays to everyone and a happy new year. Lastly, our office will be closed from December 23rd until January 2nd. And so, I thank God every year. And so if you do need help and it is an emergency, you can call the office and someone will be available on call, but the office will be technically closed. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that update, Portia. And next up, Detective Nuzzi.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving and Black Friday went off without an incident. We do worry about the holidays coming up, past and coming up as well. It is your shopping season, so just a couple of crime prevention tips. If you out go shopping, don't leave your bags in the car. They will spot it. They're going to walk around the parking lots. They're going to see it. Even if you drive around and get something to eat, all you got to do is look in the back seat, or if they think you're going to do it, they're going to pop the trunk one way or the other. Please be conscious of that. The weather's changing. Please be wary of that when you're driving. Of course, if you see anyone in the streets that think you need help, please call 311. If 311 is not working and the weather's horrible, just straight up call 911. If you have a homeless individual that's suffering, you think they're freezing to death, whatever you got to say, bring EMS there. Please keep that in the back of your head. We have a holiday safety plan going on for Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, so we're going to have all that covered. We do have a toy drive, so new toys please drop off local precincts. We do have City Harvest going on for Thanksgiving, pretty much after the holidays, that'll be over, so give us some canned foods. And then the coat drive does not start to January, but we'll take your coats right now, so new, gently used coats donate to the precinct. We'll get it to the places where it needed the most. Outside of that, I think, the NCO program, buildablock.com. Throw in your address where your kids go to school, where you work, where you live. You probably got 3 different precincts. You find out the date, time, location of their meetings. Anything with 7-0, call the community board is always updated. Now you can call my office, 718-851-5557. As for me and my partners, we'll update you again quarterly, so it's not every month, so it goes only 4 times through the year. And of course, have good happy holidays, happy New Year, God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Detective Nuzzi. And so that concludes the public comment period. And so since this is the last meeting of the year, I thank all of you for your hard work, commitment, and belief in community. It's not always great. It does get spicy, but we're here, and that's because we care. So I thank you all for that commitment. And take care of yourselves, end this new year safely, and bring in the new one very well. And so do I have a motion to adjourn? Fantastic. This meeting is adjourned at 8:03 p.m.